that church. Each church has a group of leaders or a single leader that God has called to be sort of the messenger of him for that church. And so in this case, the angel of the church is most likely the pastor of that church. If you're keeping your blanks filled in, that's the next one. So the first question is, who's the angel? The second question is, who is the speaker? Of course, we know it's Jesus. He's the one dictating this to John. But let's look specifically at who Jesus is, how he describes himself. It says, I am the one who holds the 7 stars in my right hand and walks among the golden lampstands. That means 2 things. Number 1, our job, remember, is to use the context to interpret what we see. So what are the 7 stars? Well, if you flip back to the end of chapter 1, verse 20, it says, the mystery of the 7 stars that you saw in my right hand and of the 7 golden lampstands is this. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches. So the 7 stars are a symbolic representation of these angels of the churches, likely the pastor or leader of those churches. And the 7 lampstands are the 7 churches. So check this out. Jesus says to John to say to Ephesus, I'm the one holding the stars. The stars are the angels refer to the pastors. That means Jesus holds church leaders in his hand. In his hand. And then secondly, if he's walking among the golden lampstands, and the lampstands are the churches, that means Jesus is present with his churches. Now, check this out. Jesus is holding church leaders in his hand. That means 2 things. One is that he supports these church leaders. He's lifting them up, giving them support where they need support, giving them security where they need security, holding them, stabilizing, securing them. That would bring a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of joy. But if Jesus is not pleased with that star, with that leader, there's a threatening kind of grip that you can imagine someone like Jesus might want to do. That's a threatening kind of thought. Or also this Jesus walking among the lampstands, that's a comforting thought in the sense that Jesus is actually promising to be with us in our midst. If we are a church, if we are one of these golden lampstands, and Jesus is in our midst, he's in our presence, he is completely in control of what goes on in this place. He's got me and the church leaders in his hand, and that means that he is going to either support us or destroy us. I'm kind of concerned and joyful at the same time. He's also walking among us. That means he can be approving of what we do, or he can be challenging what we do. He can either stand there and say, good job, or he can stand there and say, no more. Jesus is completely in charge of his church. And so he wants the church in Ephesus to know, I'm in charge of you. This is my church. This is not your church. This is not a human thing. If this goes anywhere, it's only because I'm doing it. And if it doesn't go anywhere, it's because I've taken my hand away from it. Jesus is in charge of his church. All right. Well, let's get into the meat of the lesson here for the people of Ephesus. If you look at the list of stuff that Jesus recognizes about the people in Ephesus, you'll recognize that it seems like they're doing everything right. I mean, check it out. They are, Jesus says, I know your deeds. It seems like these are good deeds. I know the good deeds that you've been doing. I know your hard work. I know your perseverance. I know that you cannot tolerate wicked men, that you've tested those who claim to be apostles but are not and have found them false. You've persevered and have endured hardships for my name and have not grown weary. They seem to be doing everything right. I know some of you this morning came here at 8:30 to put in some hard work and perseverance to get the electrical equipment and band equipment and stuff set up. Some of you I know came at 9 o'clock, and not that you're half an hour less important than the rest of us. But you came and you're putting in hard work and you're doing some great stuff. Some of you came a little later. Some of you didn't come till 10:30, but you're putting in hard work because you're giving this worship thing your all. You don't think you're a great singer, but you're going to be loud. Who cares? And so, you're putting in some hard work. God knows your deeds. He knows your perseverance. He knows the things that you've been doing. Some of you, I know, are the kinds of people who are really precise, and you want to know who are the true teachers out there and who are the false teachers. And you're doing the research, and you're trying to identify who are the right ones, who are the wrong ones, who are the true ones, who are the false ones. And you're evaluating all these things. And some of you, I know, right now are evaluating me, and you're saying, is he actually on par with what's supposed to happen? And so I know that there are people like that in here. More than that, I know that all of you have experienced someone like that out there, both the good side and the bad side. I grew up in a church that was filled with people who were hardworking, persevering, willing to go through all kinds of hardships, but because they were also passionately about what was right, some of them created hardships for others. They're willing to go through them, but they were creating them for themselves. I remember one night, the church was going through a kind of a leadership shift. They were beginning to develop a system of leaders that is more closely aligned with what's in the Bible. At the time, they were completely missing one level of leadership. The level of leadership that's sort of like a group of pastors, or in the Bible, the term that's used is equivalent. Pastors, elders, and overseers are equivalent at this kind of level of group leadership. And the church that I was raised in didn't have this group leadership model. And they were moving towards it because it's in the Bible. They wanted to get closer to the Bible. And I remember we had a business meeting, and I kid you not, for about an hour, I remember the debate in the business meeting was whether or not we should call these leaders elders or overseers. And for a whole hour, it just went back and forth, and this person said, well, I think it's more biblical to call them elders. And this person said, I think it's more biblical to call them overseers. The thing is, the Bible uses both terms to call the same group of people, because elder meant, more mature, and overseer meant watching over, and so they're basically descriptive terms, not necessarily titles and everything. And so there was this debate for a whole hour, and I remember just being exhausted and burned out and thinking, oh my goodness, why are we investing so much energy in such a tiny little detail? I know some of you have been in churches like that, and you've known people like that who would invest so much energy in the tiniest little details. They are hard-working people. And if you saw them from the outside, you would say, they are religious people. Man, those people love Jesus. You would say, these people must really love Jesus, because look at how intently they pay attention to His Word. But the truth is, there's one